The female lead tells women's stories. Remarkable, diverse, inspiring. An educational charity promoting positive female role models who show the many different routes to success and fulfillment.
So often I hear people saying, oh, how do I get started? How do I do this? How do you do it? You just start. You have to begin. And it won't be perfect, and it'll be messy, and it'll be hard. But you're doing something, and you're on your way.
Empowering future generations of women through films. And a book of 60 women donated to 18,000 schools in the UK and USA, reaching millions of young people. And through our female lead societies, we help girls to discover new role models that speak to their passions, ambitions, and careers. Through our research into social media and mental health, we found a solution to the negative impact of social media on teen girls. Through a simple intervention which encouraged girls to follow different influencers, we were able to change their entire social media experience and sense of well-being. We called this campaign Disrupt Your Feed, and it reached 20 million people on social, with 330 million impressions all over the globe. So what's next? As well as inspiring girls, we're now finding ways to measurably improve the lives of older women through data, research, and the stories of those who have overcome challenges and found their own personal versions of success. We're a long way from being finished. Join us in our mission.
Are we going to talk about women's rights again? Yes, we're going to talk about it until there's balance.
Hello, welcome everyone. Welcome to our LinkedIn Live. We're going to be hearing about the life of an amazing entrepreneur. But before I introduce her, I just want to say a few words. I'm Edwina Dunn. I run a campaign called The Female Lead. You've just heard about it. It is all about sharing amazing, interesting, diverse stories. So I'm very lucky to have the incredible Bobbi Brown here today. Welcome, Bobbi. I will get to ask you a few questions in a moment, but please, can I just remind everybody that towards the end, there's a moment in time where you can get to ask your questions. So do please send them in to Lauren, who will filter them through and pass them on. Let me tell you a little bit about Bobbi in case you don't know. She is absolutely world-renowned, brilliant makeup artist, born in Chicago, best-selling author, serial entrepreneur. I think the thing that's so amazing is she created 10 simple lipsticks, and those lipsticks changed the industry and evolved into a global beauty empire, which is phenomenal. $1 billion business that she then sold to Estee Lauder. And I think the journey continues, and we'll hear something of that. But I do love Bobbi's philosophy. I read it. I hope it's still true, Bobbi, which is the secret to beauty is simple. Be who you are, which I really love.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, before we talk about me and my life and and all the crazy things that have me here, I have to just say I am so in awe of what you do and what you are sharing with so many people. And I'll tell everyone that I'm only here today talking because I found you. And I literally, I saw you on LinkedIn. I went to Instagram. I read about it, and then I'm like, I want in. I want to be part of this amazing movement to empower and inspire. So, I'm very proud to be talking to you right now.
That's really, really lovely. And, what it says to me is that, women who've done such amazing things, don't always have a place to talk and share that. And there are so many people out there who want to know how you did it. And they don't get to hear it. We still hear so many male stories, and nothing wrong with that. But, what's so exciting is how you did it. And yeah, I had a pretty exciting career too, but I'm so happy that, this is what I get to do now. So yeah, let's talk. So first of all, tell me, where are you and how does it feel?
Well, right now I am, at a place in my life that I am incredibly, incredibly happy and joyful in the middle of this pandemic when, I see all the suffering. I see how hard it is for everyone. I have somehow managed to launch a new brand. So I started the cosmetics company the same year I had my first child, who is now 30. And I somehow managed to have 3 children, a successful marriage, friends, and start this business, sell the business after 4 years, by the way.
Wow.
Became a corporate employee, stayed for 22 years working with, mostly men at the table. And I left on the eve of my 60th birthday at 59 point something years old, not knowing what I was going to do. And honestly, that's when my life started. That's when I began, and I felt the freedom and I felt the excitement about what could be. And I jumped into a lot of different endeavors. And here I am, my new cosmetics company launched in October, a week before the American elections, right in the middle of a pandemic. And, it's quite something.
It's lovely to hear you talk about excitement, because I think that is at the heart of the creativity that is your hallmark, and that feeling, because there are some really tough times as an entrepreneur, aren't there, where, you're right down in the depths and then the excitement kicks in. What have been perhaps the worst and best moments you've been through?
Well, the best I can go on, because I have this amazing ability to let go of the negative and the toughest times and just really enjoy the positive. That's something that I don't know why my personality is that, but it has been very helpful. So, you can imagine, being part of a corporation is incredible and exciting. And it really, by selling my company to Estee Lauder, it really helped launch this brand. And, the way that I personally grew it, I was able to work in media as an expert on television to teach women and to share my philosophy that was different than everything else out there, which was about feel good in your skin, be who you are, use makeup just to make you feel better. So I was able to do that. And you could imagine, for an entrepreneur at the last few years I was there, it was really rough. And, as the company got bigger and bigger, it was harder for me to do what I thought was right, what I wanted to do. And, the hardest thing I think for women out there in these situations is that we're not looked upon as powerful and brilliant. We're looked upon as being difficult. And I was not difficult. I was just very, very clear in what I wanted. And so now I have, a team of 8 or 10 people that all think I'm brilliant, and probably the only one that thinks I'm difficult are my sons and my husband. But, and I continue to follow my passion and my dream. And part of that is helping other women realize their passions and their dreams.
I think it's such a powerful and wonderful message, that. And I guess at some point you worked out that being different was okay, that actually not conforming, not following a path others had trodden was okay. And, I love the way you talk about making it up and, almost waking up each day going, I'm going to try this. I'm going to have a go. And that's not for everyone, is it?
It's not. Not everyone is meant to be an entrepreneur because, I like problem solving. I love when things go, fluidly and brilliantly. But when they don't, instead of freaking out, I say, okay, so what, now what? All right, let's try this. All right, well, that didn't work. Let's try it this way. So I always say there's first of all, there is no excuse for anything except going forward. You can't go backwards. You can go sideways, but I suggest going forward is a better way to go. And just constantly be moving and doing. There's no secret out there. There's no magic dust. There's just doing it and putting it together.
And I guess the people that are around you, these 8 people that you've mentioned, they must watch. Obviously, they contribute huge things, but they must also be learning and figuring out, what is it that you do that is the X ingredient? Because, you've not been successful once, you continue to do it. So there must be a pattern. There must be things that they're able to see in there.
Well, what I know that I am to them, is someone they look up to. I mean, even my GM, can't believe that she is running my brand and helping me launch it because she grew up on the teen books, and she can't even believe that I go over to test, a foundation or a pencil on her. She goes, "Oh my God, Bobbi Brown is touching me." I'm like, come on. Stop. So I've become, a mentor to them. But by the way, in this day and age, they're mentors to me. I learn what they do. I learn, how they use, social, how they shop, how they think. And I'm trying so hard to help get a little bit of structure into our team and, work with the marketing calendar. And I think sometimes they look at me like, what is she talking about? And so I do think some of those traditional things with the new, like their new excitement, when you put them together, I think it's magic.
And what do you think? You've obviously been very successful, and people could look at you and say, Bobbi Brown, you've done it. You're known, your brand's known, you've changed so much. What drives you on? Why is it you still want to keep doing things? What is that motivation in you?
Well, I think about joy a lot. What brings you happiness? Golf doesn't. Tennis doesn't. Gardening doesn't. Cleaning out my drawers. I love cleaning out my closets and drawers. Makes me feel in control. But what brings me joy is creating. It's also monetizing. I still like to make money. I still like to give money away. I still like to, to spend money. I still enjoy the whole process. And it makes me feel, young again. I am 63 years old. I don't think I am. I don't feel it. I certainly don't act it. And I just can't imagine doing anything else except exactly what I'm doing. And I don't think I'll ever sell my company that I'm working with except to help my employees pay for their children's colleges. But we're new. We're only 6 months old.
Yeah, there's time to go down that avenue yet. And I guess that journey that you're on, which is taking something from an idea through to fruition, has so many different phases. And I guess figuring those out and deciding when you're done, when that is kind of finished and you move on to the next thing, that's also knowing when something's finished and the journey's gone. That's quite a moment as well.
Well, I certainly don't know what that's about now. I would say I probably have about 5 different endeavors, the makeup being the strongest. I have a wellness brand called Evolution 18, which is available at Boots. My husband and I have renovated a hotel in Montclair called The George. We have a photo studio, and I have a podcast. And so I'm involved in different things, and it keeps me it keeps me energized and engaged. And, I still say yes to other projects, even though my husband keeps asking me why. How do you, I'm like, because it's interesting. And if it's not interesting, I won't do it anymore. So I just find things interesting when I don't have experience doing it. I don't know how to do it. And what excites me being back in beauty, it's so different. The products are different, how customers hear about them, how we sell them, how we communicate them. It's so different. And you don't have to belabor and belittle things like you used to. You just have to be able to shift and move quickly because things come up. Okay, I'll try that.
Yeah, the speed is something that is just transformative. What I love to hear, and I'm sure people listening will enjoy hearing, is your ability to navigate fulfillment and joy and mention the importance of money, which so many women, I think, find it difficult to talk about and perhaps feel, I don't know, that it's a little bit, inelegant or not feminine or something like that. But you've spoken of money as a way of empowering you and doing all the things that you enjoy. Have you thought about how you speak of that and the importance of it to others?
Well, it certainly starts at home. Our three sons are, all working, and as, I don't know if they're as driven as their mom and their dad, but they are, and they're hardworking, and they know the importance of supporting themselves and making money and, and having vacations and having a lifestyle that is not just all work, because that's what we really taught our kids. And for me, I didn't come from money. I came from, middle-class parents. And, maybe they were upper middle class, but I didn't want anything, but I didn't realize that by being successful, what it means for myself and my husband is we've been able to have vacations where we invite not only our kids, but their girlfriends, their fiancés, my nephews. And that has kept, for me, my life at such a happy place, because that's what really drives me. It's my posse. You invite me somewhere, can I bring my posse? And it could be 2 people and it could be 12, depending how many are with me, but they're all related to me. So, that's what makes me happy. And I knew that, right away. And there's no better positive side to working so hard than to enjoy your life. And giving money away is also an amazing thing. We were able to send over 20 kids to college, my husband and I. And, you sure feel good about that.
Yeah, I would think so. That's amazing and really joyful. And I loved hearing your stories of how there were moments of, great temptation and great celebrity where you could have put those moments ahead of family moments, husband moments, and, those calls on you that perhaps were quieter, less visible, but you don't seem to.
Yes, there was a lot of, no, but I do. There's a lot of those choices that when you are in the middle of them are torturous. Like, do I do Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise's makeup on a Saturday night for Saturday Night Live, or go to my friend Gino's 40th birthday party? I went to the birthday party. And I met Nicole in a hotel bathroom recently, a couple years ago, and I introduced myself to her and I told her the story, and she said, "I'm sorry we didn't get to work together, but that was a really good choice." And it was one of those funny moments. But there's many of those things, and I get these great invitations. I always bring my husband. I bring my kids when possible. So it's no, good things are not that good unless you have someone to share them with.
And you have a long and clearly good marriage, and you've done all these other things as well. Do you have any words of beyond what you've already said about knowing when you have fun, making sure you have fun, do you have any other words for women out there who want both?
I do. First of all, nothing is easy. There is nothing out there that's easy. Raising children, birthing children, having a happy marriage, work, everything is hard. And it's just expected to be all the time, by the way, and take the happy moments, as they come. But as far as, my marriage, I'm very lucky. And I know that I happen to love and adore him. There are, plenty of times where we're both very strong personalities. He is, he's coming in the door, so I have to talk fast. But he is, I think, a stronger personality than I am. But you know what? For 32 years, a couple words of advice. First of all, number one, just figure out what really pisses the other one off and don't do it. Just don't do it. Okay, I'm not going to do that again because it's not going to go well. And, when the other one gets upset, listen. Don't fight back right away. Just say, okay, I hear what you're saying. Can we talk about it later? And I don't have to say I was wrong, but I could say, I'm sorry I upset you. Or could we talk about it later? Just try not to be as emotional as most of us women are. Not easy, but something I've worked towards.
That's great advice. Really great advice, and so calm and sensible. I mean, dare I use that word? Listen, I could ask you questions all night. I love our conversation. I have to throw it open to our audience, who I have no doubt are excited and keen to talk to you. So do we have any questions out there? I'll give Lauren a moment. Poor thing, she's probably furiously pulling it out now. I can ask one in the meantime. Okay, I was just about to. Okay, how much progress has the makeup industry made in embracing diversity?
I think, first of all, that's a great question. And I would say a lot. Still, there's long ways to go. But when I first started, there were hardly any, colors for dark-skinned women, for Black women in ranges. There was a couple ranges for Black women, and there was also a one or two kind of gray shaded colors that companies threw in there. And I think now it is, come on, all you have to do is look at Rihanna, her makeup line, and all these new young ones. And, I am proud that I always made sure that when I was at the brand, every single woman had a foundation, a concealer, even if we barely sold any of the darkest shades. So I think that the industry has done a lot, and it's only opening up opportunity for more women of color to, number one, have their own businesses and not just cater to women of color, but to cater to everyone. So that's what I'm excited about. It is changing. And
I know you did you did a wonderful shoot right at the beginning of your career with Naomi Campbell, didn't you? On was it Vogue? I think.
Yes, her first American Vogue cover. Yes.
Amazing. Yeah, that must have been special. With Brigitte Lacombe, maybe.
That was Patrick Demarchelier, very close. But yeah, Brigitte Lancôme was my first job in the magazine business. So she's I love that woman.
Oh, fantastic. Lovely. Okay, Marie asks, what was the proudest moment in your career?
I've had so many pinch me moments. When I celebrated, I guess, 20 years of the company, I had 3 different parties at U.S. embassies, one in the UK, one in Paris, and one in China. And that was a crazy moment. It was also, a time when Bruce Weber did this really crazy little film celebrating me. We showed parts of it. Those were some pinch me moments. And, I've had so many experiences, and, I was lucky enough to do Dr. Jill Biden's makeup in the first 2 inaugurations. I wasn't at this one. And I accidentally got in the motorcade once. And that was a pretty proud, amazing moment.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Gosh, what a moment in time. Anastasia asks, you launched very different ventures. Do you approach them in the same manner as you did your original business?
That's a great question. No one has ever asked me that. And I would say pretty much my thought process is the same no matter what I do. It's like, wow, that seems really interesting. And I also think that I could do it better. And this is what I would do to do it better. And then it makes sense. I can do it better. Okay, let me tell people about it, and let me build a team who could do things that I am not capable of doing or I need help with. And I mean, I am someone that has written 9 books and I don't know how to type. So what do? I write, I record, my assistants type things up for me, print them out. I take my pen and I scribble the whole thing up. I hand it back, they retype it. And it's just always worked for me, you know? So some of my habits drive people crazy, but I've figured out a way to overcome things I don't know how to do.
And it is that creativity to get to the right answer or the solution, no matter how, that I guess sees you through these things. Yeah.
Well, I think a lot of entrepreneurs are very much like me. I didn't get good grades in school. I struggled in things that were so boring like science and math. And I would really have a hard time, you know, understanding what the teachers were talking about. But when I was out of school and starting to do things, I figured out a way to overcome my challenges I had. And I realized there's people that learn differently. I'm a visual learner. Don't tell me what to do. Show me, and I could then do it. So, you know, we're different, and schools don't really understand that we learn differently.
And it's a good thing to remember when you're not doing very well in one dimension, try it a different way. That's a really good eye-opener. Brilliant.
Definitely.
Adina asks, is the makeup industry predominantly female or male dominated? And if female, did you feel more judged or supported?
Well, it's funny. The higher ups were always male, and the mid-tier were often female. And I always felt supported, and because I guess I just didn't notice when I wasn't. You know, I also am an entrepreneur that's very naive. And if someone is not supportive of me, I just kind of ignore them. And I've pretty much had very good role models and very good people around me. Of course, you know, I could look back and could think about a few people around me that would tell me what I'd want to hear, but then would go behind my back. But, you know, that never stopped me from just going around or over, because I just always knew there was a way to get what I needed, what I thought was right. And, you know, I have tunnel vision, and when I have an idea and my mind is set to it, I just go forward. So I felt supported by females, and I am very big on supporting females around me.
Well, that's great to hear. I mean, that is a gift in itself, you know, because we rise up by lifting others. That is
100%.
part of the female lead. So it's a wonderful thing to hear. Amy asks, have you had any failures and how do you deal with them?
Everyone has had failures. First of all, I don't really believe in failures, because I think when something doesn't work out, whatever it is, whether it's a launch that people didn't like, or a hiring that didn't work, or whatever it could be, it's okay. If you didn't try, you wouldn't know. And a failure just means, you know, that it didn't work out, and it's a message to tell you to do something differently. And you know what? We tried it. And I do think the only thing I think is a failure when people are so stuck in fear that they don't actually do it or try it. Yes, that is a failure. But if you do it and it doesn't work out, okay, you learned, let's do it differently. Such
important thing to say. And I think, you know, fearing failure is a big blocker on so many people. And actually, as you say, failure is just another form of learning, isn't it? And it might feel bad on the day, but yeah,
yes,
you get through it.
And Yeah, and it's not always about, well, I don't have the resources or the money to do this. Okay, you don't have the resources or the money, then what can you do differently? So, I once was giving advice to a young girl who had a dog biscuit or a dog leash company, and she was like, I don't have enough money to do, my market research. I don't have enough money to this. I said, okay, go to the dog park, take your products, give them to all the people that have dogs, see if they like them. Come back in a week, and if they like them, maybe they will post them on their social, and then you'll start the conversation. And she's like, I never thought of that. She was waiting for money. And I'm like, okay, if you don't have money, figure out something then.
Marie Melanie asks, what would you advise to empower women around us, you?
First of all, being kind, smiling at another woman, and just saying, you got this, whatever it is. I don't care if you are working 3 jobs, you're behind, cashier, you're working nights, you're working towards something. Guess what? You got this. Keep doing it, and you'll get to the next step. So we all don't have to be exactly at the same place. You just have to be kind. And you have to just give people the confidence to say, you can do this. Just keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Yeah. And social media isn't always kind, is it?
It is not kind, but I delete nasty comments. I don't care.
I'm glad to hear it. That's good advice. Do we have time for one more? Oh, here we go. So you're an inspiration to many women. Who inspires you?
Well, besides Edwina and the female lead, I am most inspired. Honestly, I am inspired. Truthfully, I am inspired by other women that lift other women up, and I'm inspired, by women that have done things. For example, the fashion designer Norma Kamali, who is 75 years old, has a new book coming out. She's been around, from when she was a 20-year-old. She still owns her business. She's still doing what she's doing. She's found the man of her dreams. She's engaged. She's getting married. She exercises. Besides she doesn't drink alcohol, everything else is inspiring. I happen to love my cocktail. But she inspires me because she keeps at it, and she's optimistic and upbeat, and she feels good. So she inspires me.
Oh, that's great. Honestly, that's so wonderful. Thank you so much. I know how much this will mean to all the people out there. There was chat and energy and excitement about you coming on. And honestly, you have been everything we hoped and heard about. And you are amazing and an absolute delight to have spoken to. So thank you. Thank you very much, Bobbi. And good luck with everything you're doing. I'm going to do a little advert for next week. What are we doing next week? We are going to look at how to address unconscious bias at work. And we're going to do that with Stacey Gordon. So please come back. Different session, different subject. But until then, Bobbi, thank you. You've been an absolute star.
Thank you. I'm always here for you. Anything you need.